J Mac from Syracuse, New York, man. Came all the way out to see my Colorado Buffs.
What channel do you watch? They brought you out here.
The pregame show.
Never watched the college game till last season when Coach Prime came to Colorado. And I am in Colorado at Folsom Field. I am the Colorado Buffaloes auntie from Texas. Sweet treat.
Hey, I've been following the pregame show. It's all about let's go Buffs.
Away from Texas, yes sir. Watch you every single day. Nobody lays it down like Uncle Neely and the pregame show.
Neely, pregame show behind the scenes of everything. And why does he get that kind of access? Why does he get that kind of access? Because trust is involved. You would never get the kind of access you desire unless there's trust and relationship. You're trying to put your up on game.
All right. First leg of Lubbock is underway. Snowing in Boulder. But we out of here. Want to meet the bus in Denver. And we'll be back. Checking in. Weather's going to change from Boulder to Texas. Watch this. Scott, first time to a Circle K?
All right.
It's about to be lit, man.
Express stop at Circle K.
You got waves though. You see the waves? Wait. Take it. It's seasick. Don't move so fast. I don't have a life jacket on. Hey, it's his first time at a Circle K ever.
Yeah.
Like ever.
It's about to be crazy.
What a momentous
Come on,
moment.
let me show you the ropes.
Do we need anything? I'm good. What? Sure. Well, it'll be on the balcony map.
Thank you. Very much actively snowing.
Yeah, this sucks. We're on our way. We're trying. We're making it. It's very bright out too. Underrated aspect about snow, it's white. It's very bright.
You know, I've always heard about whiteouts, like with snowstorms, and looking out the front window with Kenny, you can't see shit. It's all white.
Yeah, like you need sunglasses for this shit. Anyways, we're getting snacks.
Oh, we about to look, Jake. We about to snack it up.
Oh, we're about to clean this thing out again.
Let's
we're
do
back.
it.
We're our faces are probably on the outside saying, "Don't let them in."
Oh, they know us.
Greetings to my Colorado Bus family. I want to thank Coach Prime for this wonderful opportunity. Also, greetings to all the staff, coaches, trainers, strength and conditioning, everybody who's a part of this wonderful family. But last but not least, the players who comprise this team who are working very, very hard. I want to share something with you, and I want to thank Coach Prime for this opportunity to share some things from my heart with you. And I want to thank Coach Prime for his conversations and just being able to share his heart about the team. And so with that being said, I want to kind of talk about a story in the Bible that is relevant, whatever your faith is, some good principles that we can apply to our lives. It's really an interesting passage. It's from St. John chapter 21, the Gospel of John, which is the New Testament. And if you let me kind of contextualize this, it takes place after the story dealing with the resurrection of Jesus. And it's about 8 to 10 days later, according to some scholars. Some have said even 2 weeks. And so if you let me contextualize it, the disciples are coming off of a bye week. You know, it's been maybe 8, 12 days since the big game of where Jesus fulfilled his assignment. And so if you let me put in our time, they're coming off of a bye week, and something happens that's incredible. They went through something that I want to call regression. Regression means that they went backwards. You know, regression really is like a psychological term. It's a psychological defense mechanism what happens is when somebody's dealing with some type of stressful situation or some type of challenge, that subconsciously what we can do is we regress, is that we can go back to an earlier form of development. Sigmund Freud called it fixation. It's even in sports psychology, regression, that whole idea. Often in sports, after a team has come off of a mighty victory or a time of celebration, that subconsciously they can regress and go back to a previous stage of development. Sometimes when a team has won and people are applauding them and they're getting good press, that because of the challenge and because of what they've overcome, they can go back to what they did previously, prior to that great victory or the press that they received. And that's really what happens in St. John 21, because what happens is Peter, who was really the leader of the disciples, let me put it, he's the team captain. Peter would have had an L on one side of his uniform and a D on the other side. I mean, he had the green dot on his helmet. Peter was that guy who had the microphone. Peter is a guy who would have been dominating the well-off videos. Peter would have been a guy who's talking about, I'm overly blessed. That would have been Peter. Peter would have been the dog and the leader. And what happens after the bye week, if you let me put it in our terms, Peter says in St. John 21, verses 1-3, he says something that's very interesting. He says, let me go back fishing. I'm going fishing. That's very interesting. You know, Travis loves to fish. Coach Prime loves to fish. Coach Sapp loves to fish. I love to fish. Some of you guys love to fish. And so you would think that nothing is wrong with Peter saying, let's go fishing. I mean, after all, he's coming off of a bye week. The problem with that is Jesus, when he called him to be a disciple, because Peter's profession was fishing, Jesus told him, now, Peter, this time I don't want you to be a fisher of fish anymore. Now I want you to be a fisher of men. Be one of my disciples and help me spread my message of hope and love. And so Peter decides that he's going to go back. He's going to regress back to what he did prior to the camp. He's going to go back to those old habits and old ways. And so he regresses during bye week. And I want to say that I think it's important for us today because we're coming off something special. I mean, ranked for the first time, number 23. We're bowl eligible. I mean, we've been able to shut up the haters. I mean, even the folk who said we weren't going to win anything, people who talked about us, and people have been ridiculing and being mean and horrible and jealous of our coach, our leader, said everything. But in spite of that, look what we've done. I mean, still in the hunt for the Big 12 championship. I still believe got an opportunity to go to the college football playoffs. I mean, we're riding high. I mean, 6-2. Think about it. We're riding very, very high. Problem is, we got to make sure that we don't do what Peter did. That is, have what Sigmund Freud called that fixation. How do we not go back to bad habits? How do we not go back to time when we weren't watching film? How do we go back to the things that we've done in terms of our technique? And so there are a couple of things that I want to share with us because this is a time that we shouldn't regress. We got to keep going forward. We don't want to be like Peter and return back to the old ways and the old things he used to do when there's something else for him to do. And the three things I want to live for, and I'm going to bid you guys a good day today. But the first thing we got to do if we don't want to regress is we got to surround ourselves with the right people. Because what happens is when Peter says, you know, I'm going fishing, the rest of the boys or the rest of the teammates said, hey, we going with you. All the people who were surrounding him, they said, we're going with you. Well, somebody should have stood up and said, hey, man, didn't we lead that? Somebody should have said, man, aren't we over that? Somebody should have said, haven't we gotten past that? Somebody should have said, haven't we gotten better? Haven't we improved? Somebody should have said, am I still hitting my gaps, hitting my assignments? Somebody should have said, am I firing off the ball? Am I using my hand as swim technique? Somebody should have said, am I staying low my back pedal? Somebody should have said, am I too deep as a safety? Somebody should have said, have I reverted back to not watching film? But what happens when Peter says, I'm going back, everybody on the offense, defense, and special teams said, we're going with you. I want to challenge you today to make sure that we hold our teammates accountable and hold ourselves accountable. That when you see somebody reverting back to being lazy and not going hard and not running after the ball on every play and not running to the play and not doing what we're supposed to do, that you don't join them by going back, but say, hey, man, step up. We got work to do. We're not finished yet. Let's keep going forward. And so you got to make sure that you surround yourself with the right people. The other thing that we have to do, I think, is we got to strive to remember what made us successful in the past. You know, because what happens is Jesus inevitably shows up, and Peter and those guys went fishing and they caught nothing. Jesus shows up. He's right there on the seashore, spoke to them. They didn't recognize him, and they didn't catch anything. And Jesus allowed them to have a miracle to catch fish. He said, I want y'all to go on and launch your nets back out there. But the thing about it was, this wasn't the first time they had gone fishing and didn't catch anything. And so what happens is, it's almost as if they had to have a reminder that you got to do the same things that have made you successful in the past. And that is your technique, listening, following the instructions of the coach, not trying to do it on your own, remembering that we got to stay together. And so what have you done that made you successful? You know, some of you, Coach Prime and I were talking, and Coach Prime had a conversation with me, and he said something very interesting. And I've been able to watch film myself now. And I see you can tell the ones who play good based on how practice goes. Coach Prime has been saying that. And I said to Coach Prime, I think you just being old school. You know, some guys maybe like Allen Iverson, practice. Man, you talking about practice. But the more I read and see what he says, practice doesn't make perfect, but practice does make permanent. And almost to a T, how you practice, what made you successful in the past, is what you got to strive to continue to do to remain successful in the future. So if you had a good week because you watched 3 hours of film, then guess what? Don't let that 1 week of success make you lazy and not take the same approach this week. So whatever you've done in previous weeks to be successful, have a reminder. And that's what Jesus does. He says, I'm going to remind y'all of what made y'all successful in Luke 5 when y'all didn't catch fish. You got to have a reminder. What did you do in the past that made you successful in the past? But then the third thing, after you surround yourself with the right people, after you strive to do what made you successful in the past, the third thing is seek to remember. Stay focused on your purpose. What happens, Jesus showed up and said, Peter, I know you've gone back. Man, I'm trying to get you out the bye week. Man, I'm trying to get you to 7-2. Man, I'm trying to get you to the Big 12 championship. Man, I'm trying to get you into the college football playoffs, but yet you want to go back to fall camp. You want to go back to spring camp. You want to revert back to those things. He says, so here's my question for you, Peter. I know you denied me 3 times before the bye week, so let me ask you 3 times. Do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me? If you love me, this is what I want you to do. Do you really love me? And so the question I want to ask you today is, do you love football? Do you love football? Do you love football? Do you love your team? Do you love your team? Do you love your team? And then Jesus said, Peter, don't go fishing, but feed my lambs, which means you got a purpose. That's something I want you to feed. I want you to go out there and eat. I want you to go out there and be prepared. And so today, do you love Colorado? Do you love your teammates? Do you love your coaches? Do you love the position you're in? Do you love what you have done to change the course of a whole institution? Do you love what we are as a program? Do you love what we've accomplished? Well, if you love what we've accomplished, then you got to feed it. If you love it, you can't be a leech off of it. If you love it, you got to make the investment in it. You got to do some feeding. A lot of us want to eat, but we want to feed. And so today, my question is, as we come off the bye week, getting ready for Texas Tech. We're going to Lubbock, Texas. It's going to be a crazy environment. But what I want you to know is we don't have to regress. We can go be successful. Are we going to do what we did at Central Florida in Orlando, or will we regress to what we did in Lincoln, Nebraska? If you love the squad, if you don't want to go backwards, stay focused on your purpose. What is our purpose? Our purpose is to go 10-2. What is our purpose? Our purpose is to finish strong. Our purpose is to make sure our grades are done. Our purpose is if I'm a senior, I got 4 more games in the regular season to make an impact for my next level. My purpose is to feed and to pour into what we're doing so that we don't regress after the bye week. But in the next few days, we're going to come out 7-2 because guess what? There's more for us to do. So guys, don't go backwards. Don't go backwards. Keep going forward. And anything or anybody that's trying to take you backwards, my brothers, you got to cut it. Let it go. Let's go forward. I love you guys. Let's do it Saturday. Let's go Buffs.
Do you want me to go talk to this guy, or are we just trying to get out of here?
Yep. Okay. So you gotta go to Lamar.
Lamar, then to 287.
Yep. So go that way.
Where y'all from?
We up from Miami, Florida.
All the way from Miami.
All the way from Miami.
Appreciate y'all coming, man.
Hey, man, we love what you guys are doing, man. We want to support you in every way.
Appreciate your family.
And we're recruiting at home. Everything we see at home, we bring it this way.
My man.
Thank
You gotta believe. Dude, we've been believing since day one,
That's
dog.
why I gave them to
Remember
you.
back in Jackson State? We've been believing with you in the pregame show.